FearnutZ, it's a show where two guys talk to you. Even though you can't talk back, Mr. BeatNutz will feel some are two talking guys. Last 30 minutes to an hour, those two guys that I mentioned have a show named FearnutZ. And you should watch it right now.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the FearnutZ Hour, best half-hour show on the internet. I'm Mr. BeatNutz. Along with me always is Fearsome. What is on topic for today?
Well, we figured since we did some upcoming movies last week, we're going to cover upcoming games this week. We were going to just do summer games, but we looked through those, and there's not a lot we're really excited about. Actually, funny enough, though, some of the ones that I'm actually kind of looking forward to for the summer are mobile games. So we may actually do another one on mobile games in the near future, and apps, I guess. But for now, we're just going to concentrate on console games.
Yeah. As most people know who follow the gaming industry, the summer is definitely the lull. Because you have all your big games getting ready for Christmas. You have some games that come out after that, try to get the after Christmas, people come back to the shopping. And then the summer is kind of the dead month or a couple months for game releases. But we're going to tell you what are some of the better games coming out during the summer. Obviously, one of the biggest games of the year is coming out during the summer, and then we'll tell you about some of the games that we're excited about later on in the year.
Okay, and we're going to touch on a couple that we want to be excited about but aren't. And actually, that's going to start the list, because we're going to try and keep it in semi-chronological order. First game that we want to touch on is Game of Thrones. Comes out, it's one of 3 games that we're going to talk about coming out in mid-May, on the 15th actually. Game of Thrones, it's going to be an RPG, obviously based on the books, and I'm guessing tied into the show.
It looks from the trailer that it's not going to have a lot of time into the show. It seems like it's going to be kind of unique characters for the games, doing their own little side story that run along the events of the show.
Yeah, and I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested at all. If they make a game called, like, Tyrion, and it's just you manipulating people and getting in battles and hiring awesome henchmen to hang out with you and kill people for you, I'd totally be in on that. I wouldn't even rent it. I'd pre-order it. As soon as they throw him on the cover, Peter Dinklage, I'm going to be like, I'm pre-ordering that right now. I don't even care if there's any added bonus content for the pre-order or anything. No perks, I'm buying it.
Yeah, it's one of those that is definitely a wait-and-see approach. It's coming from Atlas Games, who are definitely hit and miss. They, bring over a lot of games from Japan that I'm really excited about and really enjoy, but they also bring over some games that aren't that great. So it's one of those going to wait, see some reviews, and then possibly pick it up if it's a budget title.
Alright, so just summing up, Game of Thrones.
Wait and
watch
see.
it, but don't be too excited about it. It's probably going to let you down. Next, another May 15th one is the new Diablo, of course. Seems like everybody's excited about that. Not me. Not excited about it.
I'm not big into dungeon crawlers either, so it's one of them that we're not excited about. We know, everyone I know is super pumped about this game. Most people I know have already pre-ordered it for the perks and to get the early download. May 15th, or I'm assuming like May 16th or 15th at midnight. Those next couple days are going to be pretty unproductive at work. I'll be surprised if a lot of people don't have vacation time set up just for that game.
Yeah, and I don't get it. It's supposed to be like an in-depth, like, dungeon crawler, top-down and stuff. If I want a top-down dungeon crawler, I don't want a Thinking Man's version. I want Gauntlet.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean,
turn off the brain, hang out with your bros, eat some pizza, play some Gauntlet. That's a good time to me.
Yeah.
Not, devote hours and hours and hours leveling up your character and shit. It doesn't.
Like I said, I'm not super excited, but I did get a beta code, and so far I have not actually been able to get onto a server. So I have no idea what to expect from the game. I'm going to try to still at least one more time get into the beta. I don't know if it's still running even because it's so close to release, but I'm interested in seeing what it is. I'm sure it's going to get good reviews. I'm sure it's going to sell really well, but it's just not.
All right, we got a lot to make it through.
Yes.
So that's another one. If it's up your alley, we don't need to tell you. You're going to
you're
buy
gonna
it
get
anyway.
it anyway.
And if it's not, then it's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to have any surprises. You're not going to find out that it's something other than you thought it was.
Yeah.
Next, May 15th one is Max Payne 3. I don't think I ever played the second one. I played the first one. I liked it pretty well. The only reason I'm not especially excited about this is, as you know, I don't have the attention span for most one-player games. It could be fun, and to me, it'll be definitely worth a rental. I just wouldn't buy it because I'm probably not gonna. It's not gonna hold my attention long enough.
Much like with the Uncharted games, there is multiplayer in Max Payne. It's not cooperative multiplayer, but it's like a multiplayer deathmatch.
A lot of people loved the multiplayer in Uncharted.
Yeah.
I played it once. I played the multiplayer once because there are some games that and I very rarely say this, but there are some games that don't need multiplayer. It feels tacked on.
Yeah.
And like Uncharted, I would totally be down for co-op, and Max Payne, again, I'd probably totally be down for co-op if they could work it into the story, but I think Max Payne is and should be considered a one-player game.
Yeah, he's kind of his tortured cop in one. I really loved the first game. It was one of my favorite games of the year when it came out. The second one I found pretty disappointing. They improved a lot of the gameplay, but the story was lacking. And now it's been like 6 or 7 years since 2 came out. So it's been a long layoff to Max Payne 3. Very interested in seeing what they've done with it, what improvements they made. Rockstar's known for doing quality games. So I'm interested in seeing it. I'll definitely pick it up at some point. It's going to be kind of like Batman Arkham City, which I still haven't picked up yet from last year, where I'll get to it when I get to it.
Yeah. All right. Next is Ghost Recon Future Soldier. You weren't especially excited about this one.
Yeah, the last Ghost Recons have let me down.
Yeah. I am still loyal to the franchise from Ghost Recon. I first played Ghost Recon on the PC. Then I got it on Xbox, and I had Ghost Recon. I think it was like Island Thunder and like Desert Attack or Strike or something. Like I bought all the like add-on packs, everything. Like I loved it. Me, my dad, my buddies, we all played it. And when I say my dad got into a game, that's telling you a lot. He's not a gamer. He rarely plays video games, but he used to get down on some Ghost Recon. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, both of those really let me down. They moved basically just to try and become like a Modern Warfare or a Battlefield. And the thing that I love about the Ghost Recon franchise is it was like a battle simulator, like a war simulator, which kind of differentiated it from the pack. This new one's I played the beta, the multiplayer beta, so I'm going to talk about that. I can't really test the single player. They haven't released a beta for it yet, or a demo or anything. But I can tell you they got away from the Modern Warfare Battlefield style of play and went straight to Gears of War. Ghost Recon, I played the beta, like I said, played it a couple hours, and it's basically should be called Gears of Recon. It played almost exactly like Gears of War, like the cover system, the kind of heavy feel to the characters. I mean, they feel a little lighter, but it's almost exactly like Gears of War now. If you like Gears of War, you'll probably like the game. If you like the Ghost Recon franchise, it looks like, it's going to be an enjoyable game. It's going to be a decent game. It's just not going to be a Ghost Recon. They shouldn't have put Ghost Recon on it. They should have made it under any other title, and I could have gotten behind this game. As a Ghost Recon, no. It's like making a Pac-Man platformer or RPG.
Which that's tried.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. That's not the franchise.
Yeah, the whole reason I even go back before you to Rainbow Six. It was one of my favorite PC games of all time. It was the first game I actually joined a clan on.
I didn't get into the Rainbow Sixes as much.
I loved the original Rainbow Six. And then I loved the Ghost Recon. And the reason I loved it was the realism. The fact that it was last man standing.
Yeah.
If you die, you don't respawn. You're dead. And I understand the market wasn't as big for that type of game, but that's what the enthusiasts want. And now everyone's kind of going into this arcadey battle simulation.
And it's a flooded market.
Yeah,
it's a flooded area of the market, I mean,
I mean,
you're trying to be Gears of War. Guess what? There's already a fucking Gears of War,
Yeah.
and everybody owns it. So I don't know why they're doing this. I don't understand it, and frankly, it's depressing me. So let's move on.
Moving on.
Lollipop Chainsaw. Now this is one. It's coming out June 12th. Neither of us are really excited for. It's from a decent developer. They did what was it like? No More Heroes, which I played on Wii. That wasn't bad. And did they do Killer 7? Were they something?
I believe so. Yeah.
And I played that one as well, and it wasn't bad. But it's obviously one of those Japanese weird for the sake of being weird type games in a lot of aspects. And frankly, the only reason it even made the list is because Jimmy Uringer from The Left Rights and Mindless Self-Indulgence is doing a voice and doing the music for the soundtrack.
That guy's a dick, so I don't care.
That's a personal note, but I like his music, so I'm going to rent it to at least check out the soundtrack, and even if the game sucks, hopefully the soundtrack's good. He knows what he's doing musically, so yeah, that's the one thing I'm hopeful for on that game. Anything else you want to add to that one?
No.
Yeah, that's what I figured. The Last Story, coming out June 19th. Now, this is an RPG that you are excited about, so let's go ahead and hear what you got to say.
Last Story is another Wii RPG, and the Wii's ending its life cycle with some of the best games for it. As I mentioned, Xenoblade Chronicles, great game, pick that up. And now Last Story's coming out. It's from Mistwalker, the team that did Blue Dragon and one of my favorite RPGs of the last 10 years, Lost Odyssey. It's basically everyone you loved growing up from Square Enix. That Sakaguchi, Uematsu, all those names that you grew up loving from the Final Fantasy series struck out on their own, started Mistwalker. This one's another release from them, and I'm really looking forward to it. Should be another, 60-hour epic RPG that just the trailers and stuff I've seen, it looks beautiful, especially for a Wii game. And I'm super excited about picking that up.
Okay, actually next one's another one that you're super excited about, the Kingdom Hearts, and this is another one that has an unnecessarily long name, in my opinion. I don't know what this is. It's like 2 or 3 of them on the list that have this. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance 3D, or Kingdom Hearts
it's
3D.
Kingdom Hearts 3D,
Dream
yes.
Drop Distance.
Dream Drop Distance. Super excited for this. I love the Kingdom Hearts series. It's probably going to be the game that gets me to buy a 3DS. And I enjoy all the Kingdom Hearts games, but this one is especially exciting for me because it has the World Ends With You characters, which is by far my favorite handheld game of all time.
Now that one I can get behind.
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts, it was a good game. I just didn't really get into it. It was another one I didn't have the attention span for. When it's a single player game, my attention span is pretty short. The World Ends With You is one game that I didn't get to finish before I got rid of my DS, and I wish I would have because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I tried to rush through and finish it. Didn't realize you play over the same span in a couple days. I was like, I'm going to hurry up and finish it. Didn't make it. I finished like the first segment or whatever. But I do want to definitely go back and finish that game. It was a really great game.
Yeah, that's a great game, and the fact that they're plugging those characters in, I was so hoping they would get a sequel for it. It didn't sell very well over in Japan, or it sold better in America. So hopefully the Kingdom Hearts are still selling very strongly. Hopefully that gets more attention to The World Ends With You, and there's a possibility of a sequel there. Still super excited for a new Kingdom Hearts games. Love those games.
Okay. Did we say the date for that one? It's,
that is July 31st.
Yeah, if we didn't say the date. If we did, well then, fuck you. You know twice now. Next one, I don't want to be excited for this next game, but I can't help it. New Tomb Raider. They're doing kind of a reboot of the franchise, and I don't know what it was. Tomb Raider just struck the right mix for me in the early days, because I'm not normally big into puzzle solver games, not normally big into platforms, and as we've covered multiple times, not big into one-player games most of the time. But Tomb Raider, for whatever reason, I did enjoy, and this new one, they're rebooting it. Have you heard much on it?
I've heard bits and pieces.
Well, what's really got me hopeful is they're supposed to be going like a little more like gritty with it.
It's supposed to be more kind of realistic compared to this super heroine that Lara Croft.
From what I have read about it, it's actually like basically going to be more like Snake Eater. It's going to be like crossing Snake Eater with Uncharted and throwing Lara Croft into the mix. So I can't help but be excited about it. Like supposedly, like you start the game like I don't know, like a plane crash or something. For some reason, you're like stranded in the jungle, no weapons, no food, nothing. So first order of business is get the tools for survival, get food, stuff like that. And it sounds good to me. I'm definitely going to rent it, maybe buy it. I don't know. I'll have to see what other features are going to be announced for it. I think that one got pushed back, but we can touch on it. Just remind me at the end. Do you want to add anything to Tomb Raider?
I don't really know much about the Tomb Raider. I've never been a fan of the series, so.
See, I love the first ones. They fell off, of course. Everybody knows that. But anyway, it's supposed to come out sometime in the third quarter this year. Next is BioShock Infinite. It's coming out October 16th. To me, it's a rental. I wouldn't consider buying it. I played the first one. I liked it pretty well. Game goes back to my short attention span. The second one, I didn't even play because I watched a buddy of mine play it, and the story didn't seem as good to me. Like it seemed like the story wasn't as good, and it didn't seem like the controls and stuff really improved upon the first one. It basically just seemed like BioShock 1.2 with a weaker story to me.
Yeah, BioShock, I think, is one of the greatest games ever made. It was brilliantly done. Great combat system, a great story, great setting. BioShock 2 just seemed more like a mod than anything else to me. I mean, they really didn't improve on the gameplay much. They added multiplayer, which once again, it felt just tacked on. And the story, I just felt really short compared to the first one. So, BioShock Infinite, though, I think looks amazing. I'm super excited about it. It looks like it's going to be more like the first one. It's a brand new setting, which is going to be in the sky instead of under the water. Looks beautiful from the trailers. The powers look even more powerful. Like when I remember one of the trailers, to get a cannon shot at you, you actually take the rocket and flip it back at them. That looks really cool. It's one that I think is going to, it's definitely going to sell well. And it's one that I'm definitely looking forward to as well. I'll probably get that one for PC just because hopefully they release some development tools with it, and that would be really cool.
Okay, so that one we covered pretty well. Halo 4, supposed to be November 6th. Maybe it sticks, maybe it doesn't. But it's 343 is taken over, of course, because Bungie left Microsoft, and they developed 343 because the Halo franchise is a fucking guaranteed piggy bank. And so they did the anniversary edition, and that's basically
an HD remake.
And I never played it. I actually don't know anybody that did play it, because it's basically just an HD touch-up of the first Halo. That's what it was. So I can't really attest to how good a job they do or anything. I heard anything I read was just a resounding, this is okay, but it's the return of Master Chief. It's supposed to be a completely new trilogy.
New trilogy.
Cortana's coming back, so I definitely want to play it. And that'll tell you whether to waste money on the second and third parts of the trilogy or not.
I've played every Halo game, ODST, all of them.
Did you play that strategy one they put out?
No, I didn't play Halo Wars. That's the one I missed. But yeah, 343 does have quite a few of the people from Bungie who they brought over. Basically, it's a studio formed just to make Halo, because Bungie wanted to move on to other stuff. Microsoft obviously wanted more Halo, so they just bought their own studio, created their own team to make Halo. Halo 4 looks good from the trailers. There hasn't been a lot released on it yet, but it's definitely one I'm looking forward to. I love the fact that you have the co-op campaign. For the last couple Halos, the night of release, I've gotten online with friends from back home and just played straight through it. I'm sure Surge and I
and this is one that
will
has
do
to be at least okay.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way in hell Microsoft will let them put out a bad
subpar,
Halo.
Which is why I say a tentative data at best.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
If it doesn't meet what they're expecting, I guarantee they'll push that game back until it's perfect.
Alright, so that one, definitely keep an eye on. I'm sure there will be a lot more coming out. I mean, E3's coming up, by the way, if you haven't... if you forgot about that, it's like a month and a half away. So we're probably going to be seeing a lot of trailers for these, and then we're probably going to see some new announced games, which we will undoubtedly do another game episode around E3 because we'll be watching E3. We're excited about it. Next is Way of the Samurai 4. They're just looking tentative 2012 release on this. No guaranteed date yet. Way of the Samurai hit and miss series. I played a bit of the first one, liked it pretty well. Wasn't something I would buy, but it was a cool game, intriguing ideas. It's kind of like a sword fighting simulator, more than like an arcade combat type of game. Like you had to worry about the damage of your sword and stuff. I'm not super excited about it. It's just not my type of game.
Yeah, I'm actually super, super excited about it, even though it's been going downhill progressively with each release. Way of the Samurai, one of the coolest games to ever come out. Awesome story mechanics. Basically, it was such a choose-your-own-adventure because you could go meet this guy, have tea with him, become friends with him, or you can be like, well, I'm going to say this line instead of that line, and then next thing you know, you're fighting in the tea house. It was such a cool way to tell the story. Now, Way of the Samurai 2 came out, and I felt like one of the story arcs was better than the first game, but overall it was less polished than the first one. It wasn't as good. The stories leveled out, and like I said, there was one story arc where this little girl basically works for this doctor, learns how to make some type of drug that the government's trying to squelch, so you have to protect this little girl from the government, from the Yakuza trying to kidnap her for the...
We're running long on this one. We need to sum it up. We got like 5 games left.
Anyway, great story in the second one. The third one was pretty disappointing all the way across from visuals to story. So, looking forward to the 4th installment. This is a game that I typically pick up when it goes budget. And it'll be like $20-$30. But it's a very unique storytelling system, really good gameplay, typically, and it's something that if you haven't experienced, you should take a look at.
Okay, and basically the rest of this list that we're rounding out is going to be announced. Tentative release dates at best. You can find release dates for them, but they are most likely not going to be released on time. And one of those that is unfortunately on that list is Borderlands 2, which has been pushed back countless times over the past, year at least. It's supposed to have been released 6 times. I'm getting a little sick of it. I've been wanting this game forever. I fucking loved Borderlands. The only reason I'm not playing it right now is because you can't find a non-hacked game of Borderlands anywhere on any console or computer. Everybody that plays has the fucking hacked shields, the modded guns, all that shit, and it takes the enjoyment out of the game. If the game's not difficult, no level of difficulty in the game, I don't understand the fun of it. These people that do that, but that's a rant for another day. Anyway, super excited about it. It's probably not going to have a lot of surprises. They've introduced a new character class or two, but it's basically still going to be shooter with RPG elements. And I think they've struck a great balance for me. 1, it's got co-op play, which I'm a huge fan of. 2, it's got an emphasis on action with plenty of humor spiced in. So I love this franchise. I love it. The look of it, I could take or leave. They could have went with a different filter or whatever on the graphics. I would have probably still loved it. But I'm definitely looking forward to this one.
Yeah, Borderlands didn't exactly strike a chord with me. I bought it when it was cheap on Steam, and got about 4 hours into it. So I really haven't played it enough to really develop a good opinion on it. But it's definitely a game that, as we get closer to the release of the second one, as I clear out my queue of current games and future games I'm going to be playing, it's one that I want to revisit, play through. And it's definitely going to be a solid game.
Well, they are fixing one thing that I think is going to make you like Borderlands 2 better and give you free access to it, and that is they're supposed to fix the fucking split screen. Anybody that played Borderlands on split screen knows exactly what I'm fucking talking about. For some reason, the ratio was way the fuck off. So in order to see parts of your screen, especially when you open menus, you had to pan the shit around on your screen. Most annoying fucking thing ever. Like, I played co-op split screen like one fucking time on it, and then nobody ever wanted to play again because it's fucking horrible. It made it so much worse. And so you basically just want to play online with friends because playing the split screen was horrible.
The thing I most want to see is cross-platform, which we've talked about before.
Yeah, that would be great.
I think that would help out.
I'm not holding my breath for that. It would be great, but it would have to be like Portal, you know, where they did like a third party with like Steam or something. And I just don't see that happening a lot, especially with some of the bigger games. Because Portal, you gotta assume there's not a huge data transmission.
Yeah, just two people in some puzzles.
Exactly. Whereas like Borderlands, you've got a lot of fucking data to send. So anyway, definitely looking forward to that. If you played the first Borderlands and liked it, I don't see how you couldn't be looking forward to it. If you didn't play the first Borderlands, you should give it a try. Know this, though. The game was made to play as a team. If you play through it one player, you'll still get the story and everything, but you better grind up a little bit. You better take some time to farm and level up and get better weapons because you're going to need it on one player. It's made to have 2 to 3 buddies playing with you. Anyway, on to the next. Let's go. Let's do it a little in order from what we got, because we'll save the 3 big sequels for last. Let's go Last Guardian. Last Guardian's from the people that did Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. Ico, played a demo of, didn't really get into it. It was a fucking like 10-hour long fucking escort campaign. I hate escort levels. I hate when there's a level in a game where you have to escort someone helpless around. So I couldn't get behind an entire game built around that. That being said, Shadow of Colossus, pretty awesome. Yeah. And Last Guardian looks like it's going to be more in the vein of that than Ico. So I'm definitely excited about it.
Yeah, one, it looks beautiful, which is something that Ico and Shadow definitely delivered for their time. I agree with Alan on the fact that I didn't really care for Ico that much. I tried it and, it got a little, bothersome. Yeah. Just always trying to either solve puzzles while, defending the princess and that. But absolutely love Shadow. One of my favorite games for the PS2. And I'm really excited for The Last Guardian. I think it could be equally as good. Obviously not a lot is known about it at this point, but the fact you just have a giant monster as a buddy, that's pretty awesome, just there.
Okay, alright, and we're going to try and steamroll through these last 3 pretty quick, because we're trying to stick as close to the 30-minute time frame as we can, and we're about to hit that. Last, we're going to cover real quick, was it Resident Evil 6?
Resident Evil 6.
Grand Theft Auto 5, and Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. That's the stupidest name. I don't know why they went with that. Why would they just make up a word? They could have just called it Metal Gear Rising. I mean, that sounds pretty cool. That sounds like a game I'll play. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Stupid title. I hope they change that before it comes out. I don't know why it annoys me so. It just does. Here's the thing they're doing with that. I don't know how much you've read on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and sum up like what I know of it real quick. They're putting the emphasis on action this time around. First of all, you're going to be raiding, just raiding. As far as I know, there's not going to be any other playable characters, and I don't even know if Solid Snake's going to be in it at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But you are going to be like the cyber ninja raided, not the gay, blonde hair, naked cartwheeling from 2 rated.
But anyway, so yeah, they're cutting down the stealth drastically, supposedly, and going more action. A lot of people, the franchise, are going to be complaining, like I was about Ghost Recon, that it's not staying true to the franchise. This is one area that I actually don't mind that, because that's the only reason that Metal Gear Solid was the only one in the franchise that I actually finished. The rest of them I never finished because I got tired of sneaking around. I like to shoot shit and run and gun, and occasionally snipe. And so I'm looking forward to this. This one's going to have a lot of sword use too, though, so it's going to be like a hack and slash too.
Well, Solid was still extremely stealth-based.
Oh yeah, but the story and the innovativeness of Solid kept me intrigued, and I got through the whole thing. I never played through it a second time, and that's a rare thing that somebody says that. You know, a lot of people have played Metal Gear Solid multiple times. But it goes back to my single-player attention span.
Well, I mean, with the Metal Gear series, obviously, where they've gone wrong, I believe, is just the direction. The amount of cutscenes, the gameplay after Metal Gear Solid has been atrocious.
They've done wrong. We got to stick to it.
I'm talking as long as I want to talk.
Okay.
Anyway.
Go way over again.
Anyway, I would already be done if you stop interrupting me.
Right.
Anyway, so the amount of cutscenes to gameplay after Metal Gear Solid was pretty atrocious. I mean, you'd walk down the hallway, cutscene. Turn around, walk through a door, cutscene. And hopefully they're getting away from that with this game. It's going to be more action-based, do more in-game storytelling. And I think it could be really good with the fact that you're the Cyber Ninja Raiden. You're supposed to be quick. If you've played through 4, he's jumping around, fighting giant robots, cutting their legs off and stuff. So, with that character, I'm fine with the change from, the slow-moving stealth game.
Okay, Resident Evil 6. I haven't heard of any big change-ups. As far as I know, it's going to be another Resident Evil.
Well, I mean, you get Leon and Chris for the first time in the game. I believe those are the two characters you're going to play in the co-op version.
I mean, there's fanfare thrown in, but the core gameplay, as far as I've read, is it's going to be the same. It's going to be like Resident Evil 5, just newer.
But once again, Resident Evil series is a series built on this story.
Yeah, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I got no problems with this. To me, that's a good thing. When they say, "Hey, we're releasing another Resident Evil," it's going to be awesome like the last one, then I'm perfectly fine with that. If they want to make a newer Resident Evil 5, I loved Resident Evil 5. Yeah. I will play Resident Evil 6. I will most likely buy Resident Evil 6.
The one thing I'm super excited about is most people who know me know my favorite character from the series is Albert Wesker. I thought he was such a cool character. In the first game, he comes back with the powers, and then, of course, at the end of 5, he gets defeated. But they're introducing his son in this game. And that's going to be a really cool story arc for that. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Resident Evil game. If you're a fan of the Resident Evil series, then you're going to buy this game. Yeah. Hey, we don't need to talk it up or down or whatever. You know whether you're going to get Resident Evil or not.
I mean, it's 6. Yeah. You've had 5 to get ready for it, plus a bunch of spinoffs.
Yeah. Last one, real quick, Grand Theft Auto 5. One thing I've heard that they might be, and this was early on, I haven't looked up to see if it's still confirmed or not, but one thing I heard that they might be doing differently with this one is multiple main characters. Like, instead of just playing one guy, and I need to look this up, I should have before, but we were just trying to get this knocked out so we can get ready for our shows tonight. But anyway, I think that could be cool. I just hope that they don't mess with the formula too much. I haven't played a Grand Theft Auto game that I didn't like, so...
Well, they kind of introduced the multiple characters with the expansions of The Lost and Damned and The Ballad of Gay Tony. From, you kind of interact with Nico in those, but you're actually playing other characters. And both of those are really well done. And if they do it that way where, you're telling this story that intertwined together and is really well woven.
But see, I think that's where they work best. Yeah, is as the add-ons. Yeah. And I think, and they have time to do it right then, because everybody's enjoying the regular game. They can take their time, throw out ideas, test them, shoot them down. Make those add-ons. I think this one, I don't know. I mean, I'm still hopeful. I'm still going to check it out. It's Grand Theft Auto 5. Of course I'm going to check it out. But I just hope they're able to make it work. And if not, then I hope they're able to see it early enough in the development and shoot that down. Because I'd hate to see them ruin a franchise, you know. Alright, I think that covers most all of them. And I'm going to look into the mobile gaming, mainly because we're also going to cover Phantasy Star Online 2, which Phantasy Star Online, both of us loved.
Yeah.
On the GameCube, I had the little fucking dial-up modem plugged into the bottom of my GameCube, you know. We put fucking hours and hours in that. I played the first episode on Dreamcast. Fucking loved Phantasy Star Online. The franchise since then, haven't been a big fan of. I mean, it's been a lot more miss than hit. But
true.
this one is going to be a free-to-play MMORPG, supposed to be returning to the roots of Phantasy Star Online, and it's going to be on PC, it's going to be on Android and iPhone, and it's going to be on PS Vita. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting it on PC and Android, and it's supposed to be like cross-platform, like the same no matter what you play, which is great. I play Pocket Legends right now. My same character is on my tablet, my phone, and my computer, and I love that about the game. And it doesn't have a lot of depth to it. If they bring out Phantasy Star Online and it's got all that depth, and I'm the same character on all my shit, fuck yes, I'm going to be about that game. But we'll talk more about it next time.
Well, that will do it for another week's episode of the FearnutZ Hour. As always, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is the FearnutZ Hour, signing off.